How would I describe SailGP? Fast.
Exciting.
Close racing.
Adrenaline pumping.
Chaotic. Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, really.
Well, someone's overboard!
As a sailor, you come and you're just starstruck.
Teams from 10 different nations competing all over the world.
Big pressure moment.
The best 3 teams of the season race for $2 million.
SailGP's become known as the most exciting race on water.
It's the pinnacle of sailing.
How about this? A little history made.
Sailing is one of the most unique sports in the world. You have so little control. You're dictated to by what's going on with the wind, the waves, the currents.
A lot of people, when they think sailing, they think cruising around with your glass of champagne on a yacht. It's not that.
The F50 is a very technical boat, and obviously the most important part is the foils.
The hydrofoils provide lift and lift the boat out of the water to reduce the hydrodynamic drag.
And that's what makes them go quite fast at 50 knots flying over the water.
There's 6 of us on the boat at any given time, and each one of those individual roles is hugely interconnected to everyone else. It's like a math equation. If there's one variable that's not correct, it throws off the entire equation.
My goal has always been to be racing against the best sailors and the coolest boats, and best sailors in the world are on the start line of SailGP. There is no doubt about that.
The sailing world in Canada, sort of in one word, is unique. I always joke that trying to be a professional sailor from Canada is a bit like trying to be a professional hockey player from New Zealand. There's just not very many of us.
We don't have such a big athlete pool because of, first of all, the weather. Like, we can't sail year-round.
Growing up and sailing in Canada, really the only thing you see in the world of sailing is Olympic sailing. That's what you dream towards, because that's really all you know, and that's really all that exists. There isn't a professional sailing.
I think having a Canadian team was the logical choice. We want to have a collection of events in North America in the future. Of course, adding Canada to that roster is, really enhances that.
I didn't think it was real, to be honest. I thought, oh, this maybe in a couple of years if we're lucky.
Canada does have a strong history in sailing. They've had some very, very good sailors over the years, and we felt that they would be a country that would be able to field a really competitive team.
And then we got emails asking to send in our resumes, and I was like, shit, I gotta make a resume for the first time.
Wow, Canada's gonna have a team, and I could be a part of that.
I think Phil was a logical choice as a first driver for the Canadian team. He's got the experience, and he's also very, very motivated to, I think, grow sailing in Canada.
How would I describe myself?
Phil's a maverick.
A little shark. You know, he wants to have fun.
Very humble, very warm, very caring.
He's someone I very much look up to.
The more we embrace Phil's character in the boat, the better the performances we achieve.
For me, I was born in a competitive family with an older brother and a younger brother, and you're the middle one, and you have it a little bit rough, and I think that sort of shaped who I am and my competitive drives. I'm a Kiwi. Canadians and Kiwis are quite similar in a lot of ways, so I knew the team was going to be a good fit. I was instantly drawn to it.
You know, the team didn't really feel like much until we kind of had our first few days in Bermuda.
I think the first sail is a time where you're probably the most nervous. Suddenly you're on this thing with 5 other people that have never been on it. You've never really sailed with them at that speed. To be honest, I was impressed. I was impressed the first time we got together as a group and sailed the F50. They say a good-looking boat's a fast boat, so yeah, she's a good-looking boat. I guess the powerhouse of the squad is Tim and Cadiz. Cadiz is a big boat sailor with a lot of experience. Timmy has come out of the America's Cup and is an absolute machine. Tom is a two-time Olympian. Billy had done a lot of foiling in the past and is also an ex-49er sailor. Chris is a really experienced wing trimmer and driver. Georgia is a young, talented, energetic 49er FX sailor. And Isabella is an extremely experienced laser sailor.
It's hard to prepare for that because there's no boat like the F50 that you can just go sail on. So it was just, you know, you try and understand your role and then you just get on and you're doing close to 50 knots. Yeah, the contrast to the dinghies I was sailing before to a F50 was wild.
I think my expectation before the first event was to probably be somewhere near the back.
But how does it all work? Our scoring system awards points for each race that teams compete in across a race event. The top 3 teams with the most points will face off at the event final. One final race in order to determine who takes the event title and battle it out for maximum points towards the season standings. And the 3 highest ranked teams at the end of the season qualify for the winner-take-all grand final.
We were lucky in Bermuda that we did quite a lot of sailing in the lead up to the regatta, which sort of helped us out.
I think that's the beauty of sport. You've kind of got to expect the unexpected.
Phil Robertson and the Canadians are on their way to thinking of their very first win as we look at all the chaos behind them.
To finish the first day of racing in Bermuda and be leading this fleet, that kind of blew me away. I think we had a great day and the team was sailing their socks off. Thanks, Canada. Merci.
I don't think we ever thought that we were going to make that final race, but we sort of pipped in there on the Sunday to make the final race.
I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, how?
Watch for the line to turn white and the season 3's underway. Great start by the Canadians.
We made the final. Our first event, we came into that start with a lot of pressure off, I would say, and we probably got the start we wanted.
Who will take home the title here in Bermuda? And look at that flight height. Well, Billy Gooderham, he's certainly turned up to play.
But we just didn't push the boat hard enough.
The Canadians still staying close. It's going to make a change of situation out there.
Unfortunately, that brought the British back into the game and passed us on the sort of last up win.
Very encouraging for the Canadian team.
Which was a huge moment for us as a team and as a country.
A great performance, guys. Remember, this is a brand new team, and on the first event, they get themselves into the great final.
Good on, mate. Get faster, don't they? Yeah, up out, eh?
When we got off the water, it was such an experience, and everyone's there cheering you on. I mean, my family was there, and I think they were just in total shock.
I was really astonished that we came third in Bermuda. That wasn't anywhere near where I expected we could come in my wildest dreams.
We turned up in Chicago thinking we were pretty hot stuff after doing so well in Bermuda, and then
Training day in Chicago, yeah, that was a reality check.
If you've sailed in Chicago, you know things happen quickly on the lake.
we were just off the city there. It was quite gusty coming out of the buildings, and
before you knew it, a big gust hit us from the port side.
Watch out, watch out!
So the F50 sat on top of the rib. I was actually pinned between the catamaran and the rib.
And I guess this is something that we've always got in the back of our mind with a high-performance boat going so fast, and pretty much anything can happen at any time.
And that was a little slap in the face and a nice reminder that these things aren't toys.
And I think going into the weekend, that actually fired us up quite a bit.
Welcome to the Windy City and the T-Mobile United States Sail Grand Prix Chicago at Navy Pier.
We were all feeling good. We were well trained.
Look for the line to go white. clear start, great start. Phil Robertson in second, so New Zealand first, Canada second.
First day of racing Chicago, completely unexpected.
Now watch for the line to go white. Great start, Canada.
Canada, Spain and Australia now out in front. Great Britain still in the mix in fourth.
Look at that lead already. It looks pretty good for them so far.
Race number 2 will go the way of Canada SailGP in their first season competing here in season 3.
Day 1 in Chicago, it was the same conditions as Bermuda, so we managed to perform there again.
Phil Robertson again at the top of the line on board Canada. Looks like the timing's good. Here he goes. Watch the line go white. Perfect start by Canada.
So race number 3 looks to go the way of neighbors to the north.
We finished the 5-race series in the lead.
The team that is really carrying the most momentum has got to be Canada, and this is what it looks like. Canada 1 point over Great Britain.
That's the dream day.
Australia in the middle of the line, and now it's a blast. Look at the speeds at the top of the mast, 10 kilometres an hour faster. I think it could be Australia first at the mark again. Can Canada hang on the inside? No overlap, that means Australia are clear ahead. He's judged it perfectly again, and control now with Australia. What do the others do?
And the T-Mobile United States Sail Grand Prix Chicago at Navy Pier goes the way of the Australians. Canada this time plays it safe. Phil Robertson had a great regatta here in Chicago. They will finish in second place to back up the third they got in Bermuda.
You get third in your first event as a team, second in your next. Yeah, the expectation of the wider squad and the ownership was you should be winning from here on in.
At that point, we were kind of striving a little bit to repeat the successes that we'd had rather than to keep improving.
Of course, we're all good sailors, experienced sailors, but against the world's best.
I knew conditions were going to get harder.
Plymouth actually started off really well for us.
1 second to go, and Jimmy Spittle is high and fast. And look at Canada coming in at full pace. They have the fastest angle to Mark 1, and let's see who can lead.
And look at those speeds, and the Canadians just shooting out there. It is France that turns away first.
It's going to be Canada in the lead. There they go, they're running across the boat.
1, turning.
France has to give him room. There goes Delapierre. Late reactions. New Zealand will have an opportunity here. Look at the speed.
I can see the Kiwis here.
Canada looks like they're there. One boat leg separates them in race number 1, and as they come to the line, it will be the Canadians that take the win here in Plymouth.
Nice man.
Oh, what a finish there.
We won the first race. However, it's a team sport. If someone messes up, we all go down.
And it's good to go. Fast angle here. Once again, Canada and Phil Robertson poking out. Everyone wanted to turn right, sail away from Drake's Island. This rate, they're all... Too high, lost control of the boat. What a moment. Jimmy Spittle swings round inside. This is going to be disastrous. Boat's full of water. This is going to be hugely costly for the Canadians.
We went from second place in that race to last. We were sort of on the back foot after that.
Up until that point, we were still riding on sort of fake confidence almost. Yeah, that was a massive turning point for the team. I think people realized that, whoa, hang on a second, it's not as easy as we thought it was, and we're probably not as good as we thought we were.
You know, that was our first big struggle. You know, I think it kind of shook everybody up, and it made us think a lot about, you know, how we're gonna attack this problem. That laid the groundwork for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it just highlighted that we can't get complacent and just expect a good result will come. We have to go hunt that result down.
Saint-Tropez, wow.
And especially after the bit of a tough time that we'd had the 2 previous regattas, we needed to make a statement.
Enjoy the race day.
There was a lot of potential sponsors, investors. It was a big entourage in Saint-Tropez. But the biggest pressure that is probably put on us comes from ourselves.
It was the windiest I'd ever sailed an F50 in.
It was probably the most stressful day of my life.
I just remember thinking like, Jesus, is the boat gonna break? Like, can we be sailing right now, or?
Oh, they dip it! Oh, he's crashed down!
Every single speed record in SailGP was broken that day. You were racing along the reach, instantly doing 90 to 95, 96 kilometers an hour, with boats within a meter of every side of you. It was nuts. We hadn't seen that in SailGP.
Whoa, the boat's behind the line, great start, and it's Canada, but are they going to be brave enough to put the bow down and turn it towards Mark 1, where we're going to see some huge speeds?
Remember, this is the danger zone. The wind is up, as Lisa Darman reported. Will they hit 100 kilometers an hour?
We were sailing really well.
Big pressure moment coming here.
Canada, look how close they are to Switzerland.
But
big pressure moment here, let's watch, and they keep it under control at full speed.
We made one mistake.
We've got a tight moment here. Canada need to be careful. Canada must keep clear in New Zealand. New Zealand are through. Canada! Oh, Canada's going to hold it over.
Get down now. It's 8-2. Wait for it. It's coming. Easy. Up. Go.
Just get it back.
We almost capsized due to the wrong button being pushed.
That was so close. It's going to be hard for the Canadians to get down to the finish from here.
And actually, you know, that day we were really unlucky. There were just a couple of things that cost us the difference between a good day and what ended up being a bad day.
Wow, that was serious action.
Day 2, polar opposite. It went from 30 knots to 3 knots. So it was a drift around. Last race.
Let's look for the line to turn white. Brilliant start.
Canada moving into first place.
We were in the lead. There is a time limit in SailGP.
He's got 10 seconds to cross that finish line to make this official. And this is going to be very close.
Oh, it's so close.
I don't think they're going to get it.
Race terminated.
Oh,
We came within 3 seconds of finishing a race, winning the race, moving 5 places up the leaderboard, and we missed out. And that 3 seconds was the difference between 4th or last, and we finished last.
Canada have struggled to remain competitive. Let's see if they can go back to their winning ways here in Cadiz.
Yeah, so we showed up in Cadiz and we were greeted by a new condition.
Getting too high, they crash.
F50s are extremely hard boats to sail in ideal conditions. And Cadiz, we show up and we have sort of half a meter high waves, which obviously makes flying the boat really, really tricky.
I think you got this side swell just sort of going up and down on, and you got to put your bow down to actually drive down it to get the speed to pop.
It's going to be tight, and as they head towards that Cadiz shoreline, we can expect the waves to get bigger. The Canadians look to turn around. Billy Gooderham, the flight controller.
How important is it to be the first ones to blink, the first ones to make the moves, and it comes from Canada?
And the first day, I think we tried to push the boat a little too hard. We were just sort of sailing downwind on starboard jibe, and a hole in the ocean opened up.
Look at the speed fall off there.
You right, Georgia?
Georgie just sort of flew over top of Phil and hit her shoulder into the shroud pretty hard.
End of day 1 here in Cadiz. Really tough day for Team Canada. To me, a season-defining moment. But how do they improve from one day to another? That's the million-dollar question.
Day 2, Cadiz. We came out with a, I was going to say a rocket up our ass, but you probably don't want that. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm loving this position, guys.
Very close start in the first race of day 2. USA and Team Canada leading.
Nice.
In the winner's circle, Phil Robertson and the rest of his crew needed this one desperately as they came into today. They were in 7th place, sitting only on 12 points, and this win will be sweet for the Canadians as they cross the line and win race number 4.
We came out to prove a point.
Vámonos! Vámonos! Oh, they're all so early.
they make it 2 wins in a row. What a day it has been for the Canadians. They win race 4, they back it up with a win in race number 5.
Everyone was happy after that, and especially after a disappointing day 1. To jump from somewhere near the bottom of the leaderboard up to 4th is a nice thing to do on the last day.
Just wanted to say, great job today. Great job. Really liked your effort and your enthusiasm all day.
Running a team of this size all around the world is not cheap.
Oh yeah, so we were in Dubai and
there's never a dull moment in the world of professional sport. It's drama-filled, and we basically found out that the team was on the brink of shutting down.
Yeah, there's concern that maybe sailing's not the priority. Everyone's a bit worried.
I mean, that's completely out of your control as an athlete, and one way that you could contribute was to go out and win some races. And so, yeah, pressure was on us from that point on.
It is race day!
Yeah, and then Phil got sick.
I was battling through with fever and a cold, and I wasn't in a happy place.
We really struggled with staying consistent in Dubai. It's something we saw the entire season, you know, we'd win a race.
Canadians that take the win.
And then we'd, you know, kind of come back of the fleet. It felt like we could do one good day, but maybe not 2 good days. So for us, consistency is key. We know we can win races. It's just how do we consistently, you know, be above top 5 and get into the finals.
Yeah, I just remember that we were in a situation on the start that, you know, I don't think Phil was particularly happy about.
It's going to be tight. Oh, there's going to be a crash. Oh, there's a crash between New Zealand and Canada. You could see that one coming a mile away.
Only once we had rounded the Mark 1 did we get this penalty.
This is the umpires. Penalty, Canada.
He's got a penalty. What are you doing, mate? You got a penalty.
Some arguments in the middle there. It's
The way you get a penalty when he has a penalty.
penalties on Canada and Australia, and that's just, oh, that's so painful for those crews in these light winds.
We get off the line, it's the last race of the day, we're sailing down the reach, and it's very light, so you get in front, it's pretty hard for other people to catch up. You sort of extend, and we're in a great position, and we get a penalty 2 minutes after the start for a start line infringement. I was extremely confused, so I questioned the umpires.
It's very black and white, I think, and it's either 100% on New Zealand or it's 100% a green flag. And to go on Canada there, I'm a little bit puzzled.
Okay, that's good feedback, fair point. Anything else that you want to put in there, Phil?
I'm good for now, mate.
And they were adamant that we were penalised and we needed to do our turn, so ruined our race, ruined our day, and probably ruined our regatta.
Wow, Canada. They get back for an 8th and 9th. That's really shaking up the leaderboard, that last race, Todd.
Sydney Harbour is incredible, and it is one of the busiest harbours in the world.
In Sydney, we had a new shiny toy named Spirit.
Obviously, there's a lot of little things that go into getting an F50 ready to go racing.
It's way faster, this one.
I christen you Spirit. May you protect all those that sail on you and inspire all those who see you.
She good. Welcome to the glorious Sydney Harbour for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney.
We went there desperately trying to perform, and the conditions were bloody hard.
This is the most tired I've ever been on a sailboat.
It's about as tricky a condition you can race an F50 in.
Then we're not doing so well in a race, and I see the British kind of converging towards us, and then they swerve last second, and I just see a grinder fall through and just get dangled around underneath.
Oh, someone's overboard, Todd! Someone's overboard! Oh my word!
There was a few bumps and bruises after that day for sure, but we had some really good moments.
But how's your timing, Phil Robertson? Perfect from Phil Robertson. A big change in the wind there, Todd. No one reacted quick enough other than the Canadians. A nice lead for the Canadians. They should be able to be smooth here.
But we really never managed to capitalize on them.
This is the umpires. Boundary penalty, Canada.
Unbelievable.
Right off the bat.
I'm surprised that was a boundary penalty. Unforced error by Phil. He's not going to be happy. Don't make it to the gate. It's going to be a big loss for the Canadians.
We sailed the boat really well at times, but then we didn't finish the job.
Something's gone seriously wrong with that Canadian boat in the last bit. I don't know if there's a system issue or what it is, or they got rattled.
I just feel like we were really out of control the whole time, or a lot of the time, I don't know.
Few mistakes left you a bit higher drive, but you know it was hard, and you weren't far away. I think what we have to do is have a look at those mistakes, and also have a look at what you did well.
I remember hitting shore and thinking, wow, that was intense. That was a big day.
You know, really frustrating, and then it led into what became a bit of a disaster situation later on.
It hasn't been a great day, so everybody's sort of not in the best mood, but we know it's sort of time to pull the boat out of the water.
We're hooking the crane up.
I was talking to a couple of sponsors and I saw the boat getting lifted, and I looked at it and I said, sorry guys, I need to go because this looks a little bit wild.
Here on the radio, we're gonna see 45 knots. That's not good.
The Australians had just gotten their wing down.
But halfway through our lift, the storm hit.
The breeze went from about 8 knots to 53 some odd knots while we were hooked up to the crane.
It came in thick and fast.
Me and some other people were at the back of the boat trying to steer the boat to keep it from taking more flight. And
that's when the breeze really starts coming on. Helmets are flying off people's head.
And boom, there goes the first tagline. I was on the second tagline, and yeah, that's kind of when that went, my shoulder kind of exploded.
I can see the concrete blocks behind me just floating in the air that weighed 2.5 tons, you know, and at that point, it's like we're pretty much at the point of no return.
And so basically I was holding on, waiting for everybody to sort of get out of Dodge, and then the counterweight tank pulled off the front of the wing, and at that point there's nothing else I can do.
People were screaming like, run for shelter, which is crazy. So we just started sprinting towards the container. And
suddenly there's only a few people holding taglines, including myself, make a quick decision to let go. And that's the end of Team Canada wing.
I got up right away, went into the container. You know, what just happened.
You didn't realize how bad it was until the next day?
We start to clean up the tech site a bit. It's in shambles. The boat is damaged. The wing is just disintegrated.
It's remarkable how Mother Nature could make it go real bad real fast.
Just on people, Georgia is okay. She did a clinical test and everything was cleared. We told the board, the sponsors, the investors about what happened.
It's really easy for everybody involved to overanalyze what could have been done differently or what they could have done differently, and everybody reacted admirably, and I just thank everybody's okay, Jesus.
It was a struggle. We didn't know what would happen after that with the program, with our team, with the entirety of SailGP.
We thought that was it. Like, that was the death of our team.
We've had a few little struggles in the background with finances and things like that, and then that happening as well. I thought it was going to be blooming hard for the team to bounce back from that.
The wing was completely destroyed. There was a few little bits and pieces worth taking off, but everything else was set for recycling. The chances of us even being able to compete in Christchurch were almost zero.
It was going to be the first time I could race in New Zealand as a professional in front of my family. And to see what went down in Sydney and realise that, hang on a second, my dream event is probably not going to be on, I was gutted.
To do the repairs straight after Sydney, the boat has to go into a container and get shipped to Christchurch, and in that time no one can work on it. And there's not many days extra that you can get into the schedule. Obviously we wanted to do it and SailGP wanted us there, and then tech team who do a lot of the repairs and building a new wing, which normally is something that takes a long time.
They were so determined to make sure that all 9 boats were on the start line in Christchurch, and they were going to fix everything. That blew me away. When you go through so much adversity like that with a team, that's when you really grow. This team has come together and now we are tight.
I'm excited. Let's go sailing again.
Phil, for you, this is a homecoming event. It must be a really proud moment to be leading the Canadian team here.
To be racing in New Zealand is for sure a dream come true. So yeah, look, it's been a tricky road, and as a new squad, it just takes time. It's very small tweaks, little 1%ers, and yeah, we'll be fighting at the top of the fleet for sure.
And you genuinely think you guys can take a win here this weekend?
100%, yeah. Game on, buddy. Game on. Game on. Bring your dad to work day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
We had no warm-up. We had a brand new wing. We had no time to test it. We had a brand new boat, arguably. We'd only raced a day and a half in Sydney.
It really felt like we'd had a lifeline thrown to us to be able to get on the water. And we implemented some great changes very, very quickly that immediately made the boat faster around the race course.
It's a straight sprint to the line now. Watch for the line to turn white, and we're going to be racing here in Christchurch. Perfect start by Canada there, Todd. They've legged things away. Phil Robertson, a Kiwi, racing on home waters as well. And Canada, third once again. It's really tight. Good result on board Canada, they'll be happy. Line's going to turn white. They're getting faster and faster.
It is the Crazy Canucks, the Canadians, come to New Zealand and get the win.
After the 4th race, we were basically within 1 point of 4 other boats. 2 of us were going to make it into the final, 2 were going to miss out. So we knew we had to beat 2 of those 3 boats.
Coming up on 1:15 to go, this is race number 5.
Top of the line, here they go. That's a great start by Australia, but look, left of screen, Great Britain and France in that battle for the final. Canada, a better performance here by Phil Robertson as Ainsley on board Great Britain. Crucially, he's ahead of the French.
We're watching the British battle the French, but we can't forget that Canada are in the race to this as well. Currently, this would see Canada beating the British team to that final race.
And this is the final fleet race before the final. It's the Australians, Canada, and New Zealand, and those would be the 3 boats going into the final if it stays like this.
Hello, this is Joe. Staying ahead of the Brits is where the race is at.
Canadians look like they've got this cross for now.
Phil Robertson, he knows what he needs to do. He's genuinely worried about nothing else other than staying ahead of the British boat right now.
So we know for sure it'll be Australia, it'll be New Zealand, and here it is, Canada coming in 4th place, and that will get them the points, Stevie, they need to get into the big final.
Huge performance by Phil Robertson and that Canadian crew. I mean, they've done a brilliant job. They've struggled for form in the mid-season, but look what it means. They're back in business, and they're really enjoying that.
Yeah, mate, we're stoked. Yeah, that was a good race, and we managed to pull it off, so we're happy.
We managed to do that, and to me, that was the most pressure. The most pressure was to deliver. You do that, you make the final.
So the final is set in Christchurch. It will be New Zealand, Australia, and Canada that'll battle it out on this beautiful setting in Littleton Harbour.
We've been in 2 finals so far this year, prior to New Zealand, and obviously that had been the first 2 regattas of the season. The feeling going into it is, okay, 3rd final, we're happy to be here. It's been a long time, and we really have nothing to lose. So let's just put it on mode 11 all the way around the race course.
Jeepers. The final.
It's going to be a straight line drag race in. Canada are well positioned, but New Zealand are coming in hot. 3 seconds to go. Watch for the line to turn white. And Canada are hanging on the inside.
It is all on here in the big final at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Christchurch, and it is the Canadians out in front. This would be their first final victory if they could pull it off.
We came off the start line in a position we wanted to be in. We knew we had to put the boat on the absolute limit to stay there. The thing was on a knife edge.
But there they go. Both boats turn simultaneously, and it's another sprint.
And the Aussies were on our inside. I knew I had to be aggressive.
Another aggressive move from Robertson. Canada, great move by Robertson, really aggressive, and Australia are pushed back to third.
They sort of got out of our way and not following us around the mark, so that set us up nicely.
New Zealand are in space. They're 100 metres behind the Canadians. They've got some chasing to do. Final victory. Look at the lead come down, 60 metres. It was 100 metres, so the New Zealand boat is chipping away.
Our last jibe into the bottom mark.
Oh, Canada! Look at the jibe, Todd. They've fallen off. They turned the boat. They flew too high. They're going to have lost distance, and they're going to be rattled. Can they recompose themselves? Opportunity now for the New Zealand boat to shut the distance. Canada, well, they're sailing well in towards the shore here. I think this could be a mistake by the Canadians.
And look at the speed difference.
Yeah, they're so fast.
I like to say that I was trying to draw the Kiwi crowd back in.
An event-defining moment here. Canada have given the opportunity to New Zealand.
And New Zealand has overtaken the Canadians.
Canada will have the inside, but they are slow at this point in time. New Zealand are going to look to try and slingshot down inside. Here we go. It's now just a drag race. Another mistake by Canada.
Boundary penalty, Canada.
Oh, no! That could be, they're going to have to lose 20 metres relative to the speed of the New Zealand boat, but that's going to really hurt them distance-wise.
That's the Canadians clear of their penalty there, so foot down, full speed ahead.
I mean, for me personally, I don't really know what goes on around the race course. I don't know where we are. I mean, I know if we're going upwind, I know if we're going downwind. That's usually about it. I don't know how we're doing.
Turning the last mark, and you've got this short little reach to the finish.
The ladder lines show us neck and neck.
You know it's over. You delivered the boat across the finish line, and
And how about this? A little history made in Christchurch as Phil Robertson will steer Canada to their first SailGP victory, and it comes at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix.
Oh, what a job by the Canadians. Wow, clinical there.
that was a cool feeling. To be in Christchurch, in New Zealand, my home country, my parents on the shore, to win in front of them is huge.
Against all odds, we ended up winning Christchurch. And so, you know, winning the race was incredible. Like, it was a highlight of my career. And to do that in season one, like, it's pretty epic.
To come out of Sydney, to put something together and, I guess, regather and rebuild our squad and our team and our boat and everything, and to come out and win an event, there was a lot of emotions. It was pretty cool to win our first event. For me, even better to do that in New Zealand.
When we focus on the right simple things on the race course, we have the team that can execute a win. We knew that from the start. It just took time and hard work. And going through tough times like Sydney or coming last in Saint-Tropez and coming out the other side and getting a win, it's like, you know, you bond on a certain level, and these people mean a lot. To win as a team is just, you can't beat it.
It's always a reminder of why you do it and why you love doing it. And, you know, it's a pleasure to be a part of it and a pleasure to be around every member of this team.
I think things really gelled together for them in Christchurch. You know, they deserve the win, clearly. Nobody was expecting them to deliver a performance that good. You know, the team have really established their place in SailGP.
I always wanted to sail and work at the top level of the sport. I never thought I would have the chance or the opportunity to do that under a Canadian flag.
I feel like we have such a special and unique community and friendship and bond. It's a really special environment to be part of, and I'm so thankful to have been involved in this season.
What does this team represent to me? We have such a big support network behind this team, and they are all family members now. They care for us, they support us, win or lose. Sort of the stuff you dream of being able to do. To get that team gelling and working together is everything, and we don't know what's going to happen next, but that's the sport we do.
The Canadian team is evolving commercially. There was some pretty major adjustment. But the good news is that the team's on solid foundation, and now we can take that back to market and reposition the team with new partners, and I think the future's looking bright for the Canadian team.
Well, I mean, I think this is massive for sailing in our country, but also sport in our country. It has the ability to inspire and motivate the next generation of kids who are going to come through and one day take my job from me.
I just think if I had this growing up in Canada and the small sailing scene that Canada has, it just helps so much to push harder.
The team's inspired a ton of people, including myself. I feel extremely inspired and motivated to get better and excel in the sport.
So yeah, hell yeah, we can inspire. We are inspiring, for sure. It's gonna blow people's minds over the next few years of how much change goes on in the Canadian sailing scene.
One thing is for sure, this is just the beginning.